What is up, everybody? My name is Jack Billings and I'm the CEO and founder of shedknives. And in today's video, I'm going to teach you how you can hike your first mountain, or at least get to more mountains. And this is going to be an exciting video. If you're new to the channel, welcome. This is the place to be for knives and outdoor content. Now, you will notice I am in the shedknives shop today. It is a fantastic day outside. The weather's really nice, by the way. It is so windy, you wouldn't be able to hear anything. So other than the wind, it's very nice. But until the wind settles down, I will be in here. So first off, what are you guys carrying today? I'm carrying the Wesson something. There's a specific model, but anyways, Wesson S35VN, made in Michigan, G10 scales, very nice. Then I have my 2023 shedknife skewer in Coyote Tan G10, very nice blade, 154 cm steel, Kydex sheaths, and awesome. These are coming back for 2024 plus a lightweight version, so you can go check those out on shedknives.com. But let me know what you're carrying in the comments so we can continue the conversation, and let's get into the video. First off, you got to choose the right mountain. How do we do that? What does the right mountain look like? What difficulty level should we work out? And all the other details. So let's start with difficulty. And to figure out the difficulty, you should really ask yourself, how physically fit are you? If you're not sure, kind of think, when's the last time you worked out? When's the last time you went on a run, you went walking, or when's the last time you really did something like extravagant outside? And if you still don't know, I encourage you to go either hit the treadmill or hit some Stairmaster, which is basically a machine has a constant rotation of stairs, and you just consistently walk up stairs, and it's a way of just working your calves, legs, different things like that. Now let's start off with no training at all. You haven't worked out, you haven't exercised, you're not really there physically, which the first step in changing this stuff is just to accept it, to realize it, to understand it. And that's okay. As long as we're going to improve and get better, that's what matters. And to do that, like I said, go walk on the treadmill. Go walk at the steepest incline as possible. Go outside, go walk around, increase your mileage per day, whether you're starting with a quarter mile, a half mile, whatever you're doing, just increase your mileage as you go. You don't need to do like 1 mile on day 1, 2 miles day 2, 3 on day 3, and etc. Just scale it. If you're going to do a half mile the first week, then do 3/4 of a mile the second week, and then 1 mile the third week. Or if you got to push it out longer, do that. But you just need constant progress, no matter how slow or how fast, just constant progress. It's something you can maintain. Also, Stairmaster has been a really big one for me. I wouldn't say I like doing that, but I really find it helpful for hiking and just steep elevations. So Stairmaster always helps. And hiking your first mountain, you're going to want something in the 2,000 foot range. That's my recommendation to you. I have it here, I have the exact height for you. It's Cadillac Mountain in Maine. It's 1,529 feet. Overall, it was pretty steep. It had a good height increase to it as you went going with it. But I hadn't hiked a mountain in quite a while since Cadillac Mountain, and that was just a really good one. But again, physically fit. I just done 6 weeks as a sailing instructor on the Chesapeake Bay, so a lot of swimming, a lot of just pulling ropes and line and all sorts of stuff, moving boats, so very physically demanding. So that was some training there. But definitely hit the gym, work out, do high cardio stuff, get the heart pumping, hit the treadmill, get Stairmaster, go on a walk, even like punching bags, work the heavy bag, do the speed bag. That's not going to work your legs really, if at all. It's just going to get your heart moving. You want to get the blood pumping, you want to build up that endurance. That's very important. So I would recommend that one. And just overall, I would say your first mountain should be in the 2,000-ish range, whether it's like 1,000 to 2,500. Just try and keep that 2,000 range. That's what I recommend. Now you can find some steeper mountains if you're more physically active, but again, something in that 2,000-ish range. So once you figure out what mountain you want for your area, I can give a whole list, but there are people who watch my videos in Europe, who watch my videos in North America, in Asia, so there's so many mountains. There's thousands and thousands of mountains that I'm not even going to get into that one. Next up, I want to talk about trail difficulty. For example, Mount Washington, which is in New Hampshire. That's the one I want to do next. That one is pretty tough depending on the trail you take. There's some trails that are fairly easy. They're pretty much the same grade all the way up. And then there are others that, depending on where you go on the mountain, you may need some rope, you may need some like different, I guess you could say, tools to climb that thing. Now, that's just going from what I've heard from people who have done that. I need to look up what materials you need exactly. But depending on the mountain, it can be pretty tough depending on the trail you take. So make sure you pick an easy trail. Also, just ask people in the area. If you're not super social, this will be definitely a little harder for you. If you're a social person like I am, I just go into hiking stores and just outdoor shops near the mountains I want to hike, and then I just ask, hey, what do you recommend? This is where I'm at, this is what I've done, what do you think? Anything I should need? And they tend to be very helpful because the outdoor community, we all have the same interest really, and that is the outdoors. They tend to be very inclusive for whatever skill level you have, whether you're a beginner or you've hiked Everest, doesn't matter. They're usually very inclusive. And strength training, I want to touch on this one again. Strength training, you also want to build up good strength because you're going to be carrying a backpack. Now you can make that backpack light, you can keep your gear very light, but still you need to have some strength, have a strong heart, strong cardiovascular system, and you need some strong muscles to go with it. So hit the gym. If you don't have a gym membership, go get one. If you have a gym at home, start using it. And if you are already doing one of those things, continue doing it. I highly encourage you to do that. And then number 3, I want to get into gear essentials. Now, gear essentials, what stuff do you actually need to hike the mountain? What takes priority over other items, and so on. Now, once again, I'm going to assume we're all beginners here just for the type of video this is, but starting off with the best gear I can recommend, footwear. I had a call with a friend recently talking about mountain hiking and preparing for the right gear and all that stuff, and just preparing for the hike. And footwear. You could be wearing a pair of shorts and a pair of shoes, and that's it. If you have a horrible pair of shoes, it will just make your trip so miserable. No matter what else you have, no matter what else you don't have, your shoes take the priority. Now, if it's freezing cold, obviously get a nice jacket as well, but footwear, you need good footwear. I have a few brands. They're Merrell, Keen, North Face, and Columbia. They make some really good stuff, so I encourage you to check those out. Merrell though, Merrell has some nice hiking boots, hiking shoes, whatever you prefer, but get a nice pair. And make sure you walk on the treadmill, walk outside, walk on a trail. Get those boots or shoes out so you can get a good feel and break them in. Now, shoes, hiking shoes, don't really need much time to break in. They should be pretty much ready to go, but still, get outside, test them out, make sure they are good. Clothing layers, let's talk about this one. Have a wicking layer at first, like for example, this shirt I have on right now. I like these because they're fairly thin, they're pretty flexible, they breathe. So just a nice base layer. If you're hiking in the winter time, go long sleeve with that one. You just want to dress in layers where if you get hot, you can break your layers down, which right now this is a terrible breakdown for layers. I'm going from nice thick jacket to like a cotton t-shirt. That's not a good breakdown. But guess what? I'm not hiking. I'm not hiking a mountain today, or at least I hope not to hike a mountain because I would not be wearing the right stuff. But you get what I mean. Have the right layers. What are some correct layers? Have a base layer, something that's wicking. Then you want sort of how do I say this? They're kind of like puffy. They have a lot of cotton and down. So just a nice like base layer that goes over the wicking layer. Then you want some type of windbreaker, some jacket over that. Now some people take it farther than that. They go 4 layers. I generally stick to 3 layers, which would be that wicking layer. So your true base layer. Then your thermal layer, which keeps your body heat in, and then your protective layer, whether that's a windbreaker, a jacket, like a thick jacket, something with a hood. I would encourage that. But have the right layers, dress for the weather, and understand that the mountain peak may and will probably be way different in temperature than the base of the mountain. So just keep that in mind. Now if you're working in 2,000 footers, it's not going to be that crazy, but still just keep that in mind. Next up, navigation tools. Let's talk about it. What navigation tools should you use? Well, obviously have a compass with you. Now compasses, you got to know how to use them, because if you don't know, then might as well not bring it. So understand how to use a compass. Also, they make these nice electronic like trail guides pretty much, where you can type in where you are and then it'll follow your motion. So if you need to find your way back, you can just look at this and you can follow the trail back. My dad, every time we went hiking, he would bring one of these with him, and it would track distance, elevation, where exactly we hiked. So that thing, pretty cool. I definitely recommend one of those. I think Garmin makes them. Could be wrong on that one, but you can go check those out. And yeah, you just want something nice. Carry a charged phone, by the way. Now don't rely on your phone, because your service will probably be pretty close to non-existent at the top. But still, have a phone just in case, because you never know, and make sure it's charged. And then carry some signaling devices. That is very helpful. Like a whistle. I always carry a whistle with me, a very high-pitched whistle. Carry some flares if that helps. Now, if it's going to be too long of a distance, or you already have too much stuff, just going to be mindful of what you're carrying, especially if it's like a simple hike. It's going to take like 2.5 to 3 hours, depending on how fast you walk. I don't think you need to go that crazy, like you need 6 sets of flares. No, just stick to the basics, spread gear out amongst some friends to make it easier, and you can go from there. Moving on, section 4, we have mental preparation. This is a very important one, because a weak body can be strengthened by a strong mind, but a strong body can be weakened by a weak mind. So make sure you have a strong mindset. I did a blog on mental preparation and just ways to do that. And to be honest with this one, take a cold shower. Take cold baths, cold water exposure. That's what I like to do. That really just sharpens your mind and just, man, it works wonders. And I want to talk about this topic just for a second, and then we'll continue on. And I want to talk about dopamine levels, because hiking can be tough. I'll be honest, it can be tough. Now, if you're hiking like 2,000 footers, nothing too crazy. But if it's your first mountain, like I said, it can be pretty tough. So dopamine levels will have a play. Imagine this. We have person A. Person A drinks grape soda and Fruit Loops. That's what they do. Then you have the person who eats meat and water. Okay? And then take person A. So person B is the meat and water. Person A is Fruit Loops and grape soda. Person A takes warm baths, warm showers, warm everything. Everything's comfy. Person B takes cold showers, cold water, cold everything, cold exposure. When you put those two people on the bottom of the mountain and they have to hike to the top, who is going to have the better experience? Probably, I take that back, definitely person B. Person B has done the hard work, especially when they didn't feel like it, And that means when hard stuff comes around, well, guess what? They already did the hard work. They're ready for this. They're ready. With person A, who's drinking grape soda, person A who's having Fruit Loops for every meal, person A who is just diving into comfort of all realms, that's not helpful. That definitely does not get you anywhere closer to the top of the mountain. We're doing tough stuff like cold water exposure definitely helps. And just touching again on dopamine, this is how it works, okay? Dopamine, for those of you who don't know, it's a chemical in your mind, or in your brain, that is released when stuff feels good. So like if you drink your grape soda, it tastes good. And that releases dopamine because it's telling you, yeah, this tastes good. Sugar releases dopamine. So anything with sugar releases some type of dopamine. And here's the thing with dopamine. You can use that to either benefit you or to harm you. But obviously, we want it to help you. So here's how it'll help you. I'm going to use 0 and 20. 0 is the least amount of dopamine you can have, which means everything feels terrible, it's bad, nothing feels good at all. 20 is everything is awesome. Oh my gosh, this is perfect. Everything's awesome. It's fantastic. Yay. 20 is the highest amount of dopamine, like, rush to your brain. 0, you have none of it going to your brain. And we'll just say you have a base level of 10. Okay, 10, it's okay. It's not too bad. It's just fine. It's in the middle, lukewarm. Now, here's how you can improve this, how you can improve your baseline, because with a higher baseline, that means more things are, like, nicer. More things are better to do, you could say. They're easier to be done. Taking a cold shower, we'll use a cold shower for example. Take a cold shower. It's going to bring your dopamine down to a 5. So now you went from a 10 to a 5, which means everything feels a whole lot worse. But here's the catch. After that, your dopamine baseline is going to raise to a 15 because you did the hard work. Your body went through some tough stuff, and now since you're not in that tough environment, which is the cold water, now everything feels a little bit better. So now you're at a 15. Or vice versa, if you are drinking grape soda, your dopamine goes from a 10 to a 15. But once you're done with that grape soda, now it drops to a 5. And your 5 is a new baseline. And then you want grape soda again because now everything feels bad. So then you drink grape soda and it brings you to your baseline, your previous baseline of 10. But once there's no more grape soda, it's all ran out, no more Fruit Loops, now it drops down to 0 and everything is just miserable, and so on and so on and so on. And today's food, today's diet does not help with that at all. But you can change that. You can eat natural foods, you can drink natural substances. Grape soda is not a natural substance at all, no matter how natural grapes sound. Grape soda is not natural. Drink some water, drink some tea, have a little honey, take a cold bath, take a cold shower, get in a cold river, do the tough stuff, do the hard work, especially when you don't feel like it, and that will make your mind tougher. Also, moving on farther into mental preparation, I want to touch on just being fluid, being like working with the situations, okay? Because there's going to be some tough stuff that arises. And for example, while I was hiking Cadillac Mountain, there was a guy, part of my group, he and a partner took the wrong trail. They thought we were supposed to take trail A, where really we're supposed to take trail B. And they ventured off into the abyss and ended up, really it took them quite a bit longer to get up because that was the more, like, I guess, tough path, you could say, where we were trying to take the easier path since not everyone had hiked in a while. Now, you have to be adaptable. If he and his partner, if they were like, oh no, this is miserable, what do we do? And then you start panicking, that will not get you anywhere. But what they did, they realized it, they looked on the map, they communicated, they said, hey, I think we got lost. And then we're like, yeah, you got lost. Then guess what? Fluid, boom, came back, no problem. They're still here. Didn't get lost. They didn't get lost into the abyss. So that's always great. But you just have to be fluid. I think that was a perfect example of being fluid. Now, let's move on. Point 5. On the trail, what you need to do, what you need to know. And a good start is really just start early. Give yourself some time to take a break, to sit down, have a snack. If it's a 3-hour hike up, understand it will probably take you longer than 3 hours. So pace yourself, just understand that it's not a race, it's a hike. Enjoy the hike, and you can go from there. Also, bring the right food, bring good snacks, bring water. Water is probably going to be your heaviest item you're carrying with you, unless you're carrying like steel, which I did that once. I carried a 10-pound plate with me once on a hike. But anyways, carry water. Have some good water, have some good foods, good hydration, and go from there. And last thing on the hike, just be aware of where you're stepping. Hiking poles definitely help with this one. But yeah, watch where you're stepping, because if you twist your ankle 1,500 feet up, not gonna be good. That is not gonna be good. And thankfully, I don't believe I ever hiked with anyone who's twisted their ankle or hurt their ankle like pretty bad. I don't believe so. But I've definitely had some people who brought the wrong footwear well into the hike, and that was not good. All right, now last point, and that is point number 6, which is summit success and descending safely. You need to embrace the hike, especially when you get to the top. Enjoy the top of the mountain. Celebrate, do some cartwheels, lay down, do whatever you want. When I get to the top of the summit, you know what I do? I throw my hands up in the air and then go right to the ground and lay down, and I just, that's what I do. And it works for me. I like it. It's cool. Other people, they just go right to the gift shop. So whatever works best for you. And then really moving on to descending techniques, because enjoy your summit, enjoy the top. That's about it. You can figure out how you want to do that. But descending, again, mind your footing, be careful, stay very fluid. You don't want to be rigid hiking down. That's a good way to mess up a joint like your knees. You can really hurt your knees. So, you know, just be careful of that one. If you have some steep terrain, turn around and kind of backwards descend. Just kind of slowly traverse down that way. That always helps, because I remember there were some very tough rocky patches on some mountain hikes. And yeah, so you just got to be careful with the rocks, depending on where you are, and just be mindful of that one. Alright my friends, well that brings me to the very end of the video. Let me know what you think down in the comments as well. Maybe there's something I missed that could help someone out, so be sure to add that as well. And yeah, so thank you very much. If you like knife and outdoor content, definitely hit the subscribe button. There's a shedknives statistic, and that is 60% of viewers at this point in the video have not subscribed. So be part of that 40%, bring that number up, and hit the subscribe button. Be sure to visit shedknives.com, check out some awesome knives, and I wish you the best on your first hike. Or if you're continuing to hike, continue on with your voyage. I wish you the best, enjoy the outdoors, and it is now time for me to set you free. So thank you all for watching. My name is Jack, I make knives, and I'll see you in the next one.